Faith is often misunderstood. For many, they've used it as a band-aid to deal with personal and emotional problems. Although it is a wonderful option for many of our problems, it is not the exclusive answer to all of our problems. Join mentor, licensed therapist, and coach Sandy for an experience that will transform your life mentally, emotionally, and physically. Join us for Not Your Mama's Spirituality with therapist Sandy Durham.
Hi everyone, Sandy Durham here, and thank you so much for joining me on Not Your Mama's Spirituality. I want you all to take a deep breath. I want you to get your mind in a receptive place because today we are going on part 2 of the journey with the Vagina Liberator. And for those of you who didn't tune in last week, be sure to go back to tune in. So this week would make a whole lot of sense with our lovely guest for round 2, Miss Jasmine. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm well and I'm excited. You look so great. I love this yellow on you. It's beautiful. Thank you. I had to wear my tie today.
I love the tie.
Feel a little fancy, you know. So, but so excited that you're back again.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And I know folks are probably like, what? Did she say vagina? Yes, mama. Unclutch your pearls. It's a part of the body. It's a part of the anatomy. And it is something that, you know, Jasmine and I talked about last week. Definitely the word opened up a conversation about a lot of things about women's health and comfort and definitely different stigmas that are out there that have women feeling, you know, oppressed and shamed about their bodies. And a part of what she does is to help liberate them. So hence her name, the Vagina Liberator. And her story, which you'll hear all about in part 1, comes to these beautiful products that were birthed from that. But we're going to hear a little bit more about Miss Jasmine and what she does. So now what we know about you is that you're a sexual health educator. And tell us what else do you do as far as your expertise and your gifting?
I'm also an intimacy coach for women.
Okay.
So what that looks like, I encourage and empower women to identify, explore their sexuality, and deepen their sensuality. So when you hear sexuality, think about what do you like? Mm-hmm. And then sensuality, what do you need to enjoy what you like? Okay. And the two can be parallel. Mm-hmm. They can be. Mm-hmm. But it takes a journey because going back to what we talked about last week of discomfort, not knowing what you like, not giving permission or freedom to figure that out completely. Mm-hmm. And then also help them master their body through masturbation because a lot of Black little girls, Black women do not grow up with the knowledge of masturbation. Mm-hmm. And then we give our body to someone else, which in reality, we should be our first partner. We should be the first ones to explore our bodies sexually and figure out what we want. But that's not the case. So we work backwards. We give our body to someone else and hopefully it's a great experience. If not, we have to figure it out. Or we move on to someone else, it's not a great experience. We have to go back and figure it out. We don't know who we are, what we like, how do we get there. I know when that person did this thing, it felt good. Well, I don't have that person anymore. Right. Or what if I don't want to be bothered at that particular time? But, you know, so it's just a lot to unpack and discover. Absolutely. So that's what intimacy coaching comes in.
And that's, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the understanding piece. I mean, I've never heard it phrased that way. You should be your first partner. And I like to say to my kids, you should know more about your situation than anyone else. And in this topic, your situation is your body and your sexuality and your intimacy and just saying those words because I definitely grew up in the time taboo. My neck is tensing up right here because it's been conditioned like, oh, that's a sensitive topic. And I know some of you out there like, nope, I don't know nothing about that. And this doesn't resonate. But there are many folks out there that this does resonate with, understanding sexuality and sensuality and how they connect to make for a healthy and a positive experience when it comes to this topic and these encounters and relationships and intimacy. For those of you who don't know, it is a healthy part of the human experience. It absolutely is. You know, as a mental health professional, we talk about all parts of someone's world and their journey, and I love interacting with professionals such as yourself that can focus on that. That part is not something I focus on, but it's something that if it red flags, I'm researching and I'm looking for folks who can partner with my clients and help them learn and grow in this area. And speaking of clients who navigate different things, are you working with like couples or individuals coming to you? Like who are you working with?
Great question. Singles.
Okay.
Single. So I don't do couples coaching. Mm-hmm. I will, but I prefer single women. Okay. Well, you don't have to be single to come to me, but I coach women individually for their needs, because we go on a journey of why are you this way? Where did those beliefs and those values and those morals come from? So do you really believe in those, which are fine? Mm-hmm. But if not, what do you believe in? What do you need for you to feel like a woman? And that is the sensuality piece. Right. What makes you feel good? Okay. You know, like the seasons change, so do we. Mm-hmm. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe last year. Right. Your needs evolve. Mm-hmm. Your desires evolve. So how do you identify that evolution?
Wow, I love that. Yeah, and that's like, yes, a lot of audience here that's resonating with folks in the space, and I love how you specified not single women who are not in relationships, but definitely enjoy or prefer to work with people on an individual basis, because this is a personal journey and it's not necessarily have to be tied to your relationship or being in a relationship. Right. So I love how you distinguish that. So I'm just curious, I'm just gonna hang out with you a little bit. So when I said couples, you were like, oh, why is it that you're like, no, I'll maybe do it eventually, but right now I just want to focus on individuals?
Because as a sexuality educator, the rule of thumb, don't be afraid to tell someone, I don't know. I don't know much about the penis. I don't know much about the male sexuality.
The vagina, now we're saying the penis.
You know, I don't want to sit, you know, and I just don't want to. I don't prefer that, because I don't know much about what a man goes through sexually. I don't know if men have periods of where they don't find themselves sexy, or I don't know. Okay. And I don't care enough to find out. So.
I hear you. And again, not gonna.
To me, they're pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. But it would be from learning from a distance. But I totally appreciate your transparency and honesty. As a counselor, we have to abide by a code of ethics, and one of them are competency. Operating in a realm where you have expertise and knowledge. If you're operating outside of that, then you're being unethical. Yeah. And so y'all, coming to her as a professional, that is a great professional rule of thumb. So I appreciate you sharing that. So fellas, don't be feeling left out that you can't work with Jasmine. But she's working in a space where she feels her expertise on a personal level and a professional level.
Right.
Absolutely. And so with, I don't want you to tell all your secrets today. Okay. So if I were a woman, I am a woman. If I were a young lady to sign up and say, Jasmine, I want to go through your program or receive services from you, what are the different things that I would encounter coming to receive support?
Great question. So there is a 90-day program. Okay. But I am going to pivot a little and do one-offs for people who just want just 1 or 2 conversations. Okay. But for the program specifically, there's an application. And in the application, I get to know your home life. Are you single? Are you married? Do you have children? Do you work full-time? Are you an entrepreneur? Right. I know all these things because, believe it or not, just that alone can play a part to your sexuality, your sensuality. Mm-hmm. During one of my classes, I've learned this thing called a pleasure meter. Okay. And I apologize. I wish I can credit the originator of that, but I cannot think of the originator. Okay. But in the pleasure meter, It's basically your sexual history, but not like your doctor, because your doctor want to know how many partners you've had. Have you had an STI? I don't want to know all that. I don't care.
Right.
But the pleasure meter is asking questions geared towards consent, comfortability, being confident. So I rate those 1 through 5. Well, you tell me 1 through 5. You answer those questions, and you grade it yourself. And that says a lot about what's going on. And then it gets to a point. Okay, what do you want to get from this? And then I'll let you know if I can help you or if I can't.
Wow.
But more likely, I can help you.
Okay. Absolutely. I definitely love the first part of the experience. I'm down for it. As a counselor, I do the same thing. Take an assessment of what's going on in your world, because absolutely, I totally agree with that. What's going on in your world impacts your functioning. And for you, because your specific focus is sexual functioning, yes, absolutely. And you were just gave a glimpse of that with the evolution of a woman's body. I know after childbirth, I was like, what world are we in now? I thought I was on Mars with my body. Nothing was recognizable. Nothing felt same. Nothing was familiar to me. And it was really uncomfortable. So it's awesome that you challenge women to pause and really, really think about themselves and give that initial assessment, which gives you so much great insight. Awesome. And now from there, what's next? What will happen next?
So after I accept your application, I'll send you an invoice. And then
but I have to get my coin for my services, and as you should. Because,
and then we start. The first session is a history.
Okay.
And I give you a homework assignment. Like usually every session you have a homework assignment.
Okay.
That I send you a PDF and you can print it out. When I tell you what to do. So for example, I had one client. She did not masturbate. She was. Imagine a very modest woman.
Yes.
She did not masturbate. She was a mom, but that just, she was very strict with, oh, you don't do that. But she wanted to break out of that.
Okay.
So one thing that I told her I wanted her to do was to sleep naked. But that was foreign to her.
Okay.
So we started off with just a big T-shirt, but no undergarments, just because I grew up in a new house, clothes don't belong in the house.
Wow.
So
you're very comfortable, though,
very
in your
comfortable
skin.
in my I learned that from a little girl. I was very comfortable in my skin, and she was not. So one of the first things I wanted her to sleep with just a big T-shirt.
Right.
And there's this podcast called Black Widow. And it's very spicy. It's more of an audio book. Okay. But it's not a book. They're not reading to you. Right. They're literally acting out. Like you hear everything, like the sounds. Like if the setting is in a bar, you hear
the glass clinking, people
everything.
Moving.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But it's an erotic tale.
Okay.
So I wanted her to sleep with a big T-shirt and put earphones in her ear and listen to Black Widow.
Wow.
And then just process what went on in her head, how did she feel, all those things, and go from there.
Okay.
But that was based upon, our first session and what she wanted to get out of. It just depends. Everything is not designed to fit everyone. It just depends on where you are. But you will have homework.
Absolutely.
Because it takes work.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing is definitely figuring out what's going on. And a big piece of that is, what is it that you're wanting? Why are you seeking services? And from there, you tailor the approach, I would say tailor the treatment that's appropriate for them and what it is that they're seeking. And what I love hearing that it was a sensory experience, and also you were in tune with her comfort and meeting her where she was at in that space.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's all about, just being a woman. That's part of self-care.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that reinforces you leaning in and listening to self and being gentle with self and being patient with self as you get to know self.
Yeah.
Wow.
As we're going through these different, especially if you are a single woman, going through these dating journeys.
Right.
And then the question is asked, well, do you even like yourself? Right? How do you express love to yourself?
Right.
how do you cater to yourself? So if you are a woman and you love when a man bring you flowers, when was the last time you brought yourself flowers?
Okay.
What did that feel like to wake up and you see a beautiful arrangement on your counter? Yeah, they were from you, but they're in your house. You smell good, they're fresh, you know. You enjoy fine dining. But do you only enjoy it with a partner? When was the last time you enjoyed fine dining alone?
Right.
You know,
wow.
Those are important. That's intimacy.
Yes, with self.
With self.
You just touched on a very hot topic, because it's something that I absolutely see when connecting with clients who are trying to find themselves and be comfortable with themselves. That is something that we explore. What is it like doing things by yourself? And it's a fear. It's a fear of being judged. It's a fear of not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go, being uncomfortable, you know, things of that nature, or not wanting to get comfortable being with self.
Yes.
Which seems, you know, based upon kind of what you've discovered and what you promote, it seems really backwards. But it is very real and something that folks navigate, you know, just on the mental health level. And that's really awesome to hear that you allow people to bring up those themes, because they are tied to their narrative and the stories they're telling themselves that keeps them kind of limited. And in your department, with sexuality, with sensuality, with intimacy. Wow, that's deep, y'all. I hope y'all following all that.
It's so deep. But I definitely want women to enjoy their own company.
Okay.
And don't, because sometimes women hide in the presence of other people, whether that's friends, family, relationships. Like, why aren't you ever alone? What's wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
And I'm not your therapist, so I'm not diagnosing you. I'm not, but I will refer you. But we have to figure out, you know, what's going on, and even on a lighter note of self-discovery, self-love, self-intimacy. Then you shed layers of yourself that you didn't know was there, and you realize I don't have to wait to do certain things when I'm in a relationship. If I want to go on a vacation, I'm going single.
Okay.
If I want to go to Ruth Chris, I'm going single. I'm not missing out on life experiences because I am single.
Right.
I can still enjoy these things, and whenever a partner comes along, then I can enjoy it with you as well. But I'm not putting my life on hold because I'm single.
Right, yeah.
Why?
Absolutely. And I'm sure you've uncovered, there's some, again, we discussed like the stigmas, but also learning to be comfortable with self. And I definitely think it's trending now. There are a lot of adventure groups for singles. There are a lot of traveling groups. There are a lot of different resources out there. Granted, you're traveling with a group, and I think more so for safety purposes, but you're venturing out on your own and you have the freedom to explore. But not a lot of people understand what that's like, nor have challenged themselves to step into that space.
Right. And not just for singles. If you're in a relationship, you're married, don't lose yourself in that role. You're more than a wife. You're more than a partner. You're more than a mom.
Okay.
So it's still important for me time.
Absolutely.
You know, even in your relationships, still masturbate. You still need me time. You still need to. You'll be surprised, like, oh, I used to like this. I don't like it like that anymore.
Okay.
You know, or even with your partner, there may be a slight disconnect because last year, this particular thing were you all's go-to. But now you're like, this don't feel this. I don't like it like that. Now you need to relearn yourself.
Right.
And you do that through masturbation. It's not the end of the world. And I do want to, let it be known, masturbation does not desensitize anything. It doesn't.
I definitely have heard that. Yeah,
it doesn't.
Absolutely.
It can be. It's a great tool. It can be. It is a great tool.
Right. So I'm gonna just kind of challenge you with that. Would you say done in excess or inappropriately, it can be damaging, just like other things? Or you're like, no.
So the clitoris has over 6,000 nerves.
Okay.
Nerve endings. There is no vibrator strong enough.
Okay.
There's no pressure hard enough to damage that. It's literally, the clitoris was made for pleasure. That's its only purpose.
Okay.
In the anatomy.
Right.
It's made for it. It's ready.
So this is new. This is new to me because this is not my or hyper focused on, but that it is something that is communicated. It is concern as a sexual health and intimacy, educator and professional. This is coming from someone who knows that. So if this is something that you were concerned about or something that was communicated to you, we have, a reliable source here. And I appreciate you, definitely giving us a little bit more insight, because I know there are some people, mama, unclutch the pearls now, mama. It's okay, who are nervous and this makes them uncomfortable. We're going to get to your lovely resources here, but I'm just curious to know, as you're introducing yourself, letting people know what you do, calling yourself a Vagina Liberator and things of that nature, what have you been met with? Have you been met with people like, oh girl, finally, somebody to help free me? Or, a little bit of resistance? What has been your experience?
Not resistance, but undercover curiosity.
Okay.
So I get met with a lot of, oh my God, open arms. I'm always met with open arms.
Okay.
And, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And then that woman that's like, oh, well, trying to challenge me a little, but out of curiosity.
Okay.
More so trying to pick my brain. They're super curious.
Right.
Like, from the surface,
right,
they're
reserved.
Okay. They're not receptive, but they're engaging me the most. It's like, well, girl, do you want me here or not?
Yeah.
But I get it, because it's like,
yeah,
you don't talk about that out loud.
Absolutely.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
Then, that's how we grew up. You keep
right,
that a secret.
Yeah.
But why? Why?
Yes. Absolutely.
Why?
Yeah. And I appreciate your openness to people no matter where they're at. And the fact that hearing you say, I'm getting met with a lot of questions, means you're answering them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is what is missing, or has been missing for so long. People comfortable enough to meet people in that space and have conversations where it's not a shaming thing, where it's not a, something to be done in secret. You're willing to be open and have those conversations and create lovely tools and resources to help women explore that for themselves on a personal level. So I know people have been looking at these things for 2 segments, like, what is this beautiful things over here? I know. Thank you for asking, you all. So please tell us, what do we have here, these lovely tools that help people navigate?
So this is a self-pleasure workbook. It's called Table for One. And the reason why I named it Table for One is because we all need to have dinner with ourselves. You ever, when you eat alone, you have a lot of time to think.
Absolutely.
And you start thinking about, a lot of things, your life, where you're headed, what do you like, what do you dislike. It's so many thoughts that come about. So I named my workbook Table for One. It is research-based, and it's a lot of education from how do I ovulate? What does that look like?
Okay.
How do I track it? Whether it's for family planning, if you're trying to avoid pregnancy or begin a pregnancy, because you don't have to get on birth control, but that's another topic.
Okay.
If you have a regular cycle, I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
But it's education about the vagina.
Okay.
Because the vagina is internal, but we like to call the entire part the vagina, and it's not.
Okay.
So we talk about the vulva, which is the outside, the clitoris, the vagina. We talk about masturbation, give you tools, help you process. What are your thoughts and feelings about masturbation? Where did that even come from?
Right.
There's a part of it where it says practice, go do it.
Okay.
You have parts of the book where you have to identify your sensuality.
Okay.
What do you like? What do you dislike? There's a journal in the back. I call it intimate notes, for you to just talk freely, and it's like your diary. Remember when you was a little girl, you writing your diary?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's over 20 activities.
Okay.
It's 100 pages. So much education.
Yes.
So many tools to help you identify. I talk about aftercare, which a lot of so really quick, a lot of people don't know about aftercare. Aftercare is basically, it helps you combat an orgasmic crash. So typically when you have a new sexual partner, or you experience something new sexually, you may experience what's called an orgasmic crash.
Wow.
So when you have an orgasm, cool, but this newness will make your orgasm a little higher than usual.
Okay.
And what goes up must come down.
Okay.
So that crash can happen 24 to 72 hours after that act, or after being with that person. And what that crash looks like, you regret what you did, you feel remorse, you don't like that person anymore, you just have a lot of negative feelings. Some people can experience suicidal thoughts. It can be that deep.
Wow.
So with aftercare, after you've done something new or with a new partner, you have a few examples of what to do after to prevent that crash from happening.
So I just learned, yes, the audience and myself just learned something new. I never knew about that term. Definitely understand that there are themes attached to folks being intimate and having different partners, you know, even premarital intimacy, things of that nature. But you're saying biologically how your body responds can activate this instability in your mental health. Wow.
Yeah, it can be too much. Like, even something
that's
simple. Yeah, it can be something very simple. Nothing outrageous. It can be something simple. But if it's a little new, it can like, oh my God, you wake up the next day, you don't like this person, you feel away, but you don't have the terminology or the language to express that. You just know something is wrong. Like, you know, so, you know, it helps. And even on a lighter note, I know this summer, I went on a personal journey of finding myself again. Like, what do I like? I woke up one day, I felt so ugly. I'm like, oh my God, I don't like myself.
And you're gorgeous, honey. But I hear you. I understand. You went through a season.
I went through a season. And at the time, my partner was like, you're beautiful. But that wasn't enough for me. So I had to go back to what do I like? I had put on hoop earrings, clear lip gloss, because I'm a red lipstick girl. I love red fingernails, but I had to like take all of that off, cut my nails. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in a season where I don't want to wear red lipstick. I don't want long nails. I need hoop earrings. You know, usually I wear braids the whole summer. I went crazy with ponytails. Okay. You know, so it's just going back to that, what I mentioned earlier about seasons changing. You change as well.
Absolutely.
And you have to keep up with that change.
Absolutely.
And keep up with it in your book. It's going to help you.
Yes. Thank you for showing love. And I definitely love homework. Number one, all my clients know, yes, you're going to walk away doing things. Yes, because it keeps you active and engaged in what, you know, you've discovered, your awareness and things of that nature. So I love any type of tool that helps you process and track as you evolve and grow. And I know some of you are watching and like, oh, I don't know what I signed up for. You signed up to be educated today, to be enlightened, to open your mind to understanding. And if this resonates with you, please reach out to my dear friend, Miss Jasmine, the Vagina Liberator, so that she can educate you and empower you. And she is one of those individuals who will answer your questions with grace and meet you where you're at. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. But I want other people to be able to connect with you. So how can they find you? Social media, email, what you got?
Instagram at the Vagina Liberator _ I'm super fun on Instagram. My website, thevaginaliberator.com. Subscribe to my email list. I send out juicy tips weekly and monthly newsletters. Facebook, the B Liberator.
She's gonna change that. She
I can't. Facebook will not let me say vagina.
Facebook. Oh, okay.
And they have worse words and worse groups on there than that. So the B Liberator on Facebook, and check out my wonderful book if you're looking to identify your orgasms, your erogenous zones. It's just full of juice and knowledge and education.
All right now. Yes, absolutely. And of course, everything Sandy Durham, www.sandydurham-lmhc.com is where you can find me. And thank you again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Dreaming about having your own podcast? Want to share your thoughts and ideas with the world but don't know how to do it? Maybe you're excited and committed but don't have a good space to record. Would you like a professional environment to produce all of your podcasts? Well, we have the latest technology from 4K to HD and various set layouts from green screen rooms to live studios. The Inspire Network is an actual television station where our studios are available for rent, and we offer editing suites with the latest technology. We have a makeup studio and beautiful spaces to prepare for your show. Don't forget to ask about our convenient photography studio to capture professional headshots or redefine your new look. Our state-of-the-art facility is intentionally laid out to accommodate your multimedia needs.
Jacksonville, it's the Nothing But the Hits farewell tour of the Williams Brothers. November 5th at the Paxson Revival Center. With special guests, the Swanee Quintet, the Williams Singers, Keith Wonderboy Johnson, and more. Tickets $40 in advance, $50 at the door. VIP available. They're available at Eventbrite, DJ Records, or Paxson Discount Christian Bookstore. For info, call 904-813-0085.
Are you looking for a state-of-the-art facility to have your latest conference or retirement party? Do you need a space that can accommodate small or medium-sized events? The HC Multicultural Center is the perfect place if you need to accommodate 20 to 150 people for an intimate celebration. Our facility has a cafe with a beautiful lobby with robust parking. We have a 15-foot LED wall and a digital sound system to accommodate for live recordings, not forgetting our sophisticated live stream, 4K, and 6K camera setup. If you need to accommodate 100 plus people for a large meeting, it is the perfect place for your multicultural event with a friendly staff waiting to serve your needs. When you want it done with class, do it with the